Yes, guys, welcome to our today's class. This is our lesson number 8. Remember, you need to start from lesson number 1, number 2, like up to lesson number 8 in order for you to have a better understanding. And remember, you need to register yourself. How you're gonna get registered? You need to contact me using my email address or my WhatsApp number. And just a recap, we do have 10 lessons for CCNA 1, especially for junior network technicians. Uh, yes, after lesson number 8, we will go to lesson number 9 and number 10, and we are going to be done for this particular training. And beside that, so I will send again 3 videos that will allow you to write your final examinations or your exams using Cisco platform. You got your username and password. What you need to do, you just log in to your platform or to NetAcard, and you write your exams from there in order for you to be certified. When you write like all your exams, after writing your exams, I will approve it like on my side, and you are going to get like a confirmation email from Cisco that you've been certified, right? And today we are going to carry on with our practicals. That is very easy, guys. And remember to always send to me your screenshots in order for me to verify your understanding. So today we are going to talk about some of the comments that will allow you to view your configurations. Remember, guys, you have a switch, you have a router. How are you gonna see the configurations? Because your switch, your router doesn't have a screen. How will you see the configurations, right? Suppose like you want to troubleshoot some of the things, maybe users are not connected, you will need to understand what are the configurations like inside your device. So how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna verify the current configurations? Because if you cannot view the configurations, how are you gonna fix the problem? If you don't know what to check, which command are you gonna use in order maybe for you to view maybe the host name, maybe the version of the operating system, or maybe the IP addresses, how are you gonna troubleshoot? So there are comments that we are going to see, and for every comment, you will know in which case you need to use that particular comment, right? So for now, because you are learning, you can memorize them, you can understand them. But when you know them, like at workplace, there is no need for you to memorize them because you can get them from the internet, right? Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we are going to see how to use those comments. Remember, today's lesson, it's all about how to view configurations from your switch, from your routers, how to view the configurations that are there already, right? So you can go to your simulator. What we're gonna do, maybe so I will have a switch and I can drag and drop another router there. So I have a switch and I have a router. So my task as a network engineer is to view the current configurations, right? Somebody can give you a switch, somebody can give you a router. You can go to the data center or you can go to the server room. You can see so many switches there, so many routers. How are you gonna know what are the current configurations, right? What are the configurations that are there on those devices that you already see, like inside your data centers or your server rooms, right? So it's very, very easy. You know how to access a switch. You can have a laptop and your console cable. But just for me to go fast, what you need to do, you just click on top of the switch. You go to CLI, right? Press return to get started. You just press enter, right? So this is the list of those comments that you need to know. Where is my document? Okay, the first one, so we call them show comments, right? So if you did CCNA programs, you need to understand about show comments, right? There are a lot, but those comments will start with with the word show. Show means you are asking the switch, please show me this, show me this, show me this. So we call them show commands. Those are the commands for viewing the configuration, for viewing your switch or your router's configurations, right? We call them show commands. Number one, we are going to talk about show running config, right? What does it mean? This command show running config will allow you to display the current configurations running on the device. You have a switch, right? There are some of the configurations that are running already, right? Now you want to understand, you wanna see them. You wanna see, okay, let me see first, what are the current configurations? So the command is show space running config. So you just go here, you access your switch, you know how to access a switch, you need a console cable. And when you are here, remember, we are in user mode, right? You need to go to privilege mode. Don't type show running config on this mode. So you must type enable first. Now here, we're in privilege mode. So this is how you're gonna use the show command. All the show command, guys, you must use them in privilege mode. You must first be here. Okay? Understand? So show command must be used in privileged mode. So from here now, I'm gonna type show running config. So show running config means what? I'm asking the switch to show me the current configurations, right? Like maybe they can phone you, hey, IT guys, please, this computer cannot be connected, or this user cannot be connected to the network, and you try to understand what are the problems. You can go to the switch, you just go to the switch, you ask show space running config, and the switch will show you the current configuration. So you type show running config, you press enter, right? So when you press like enter, you can understand what is the version that the switch using, like the version of the operating system, it's version 12.1. Sometimes you can try to update. What is the host name, and so on. From here, you can just press like enter, enter. So you can see your port, like how many ports are there on the switch, right? You can see they are almost like 24 ports. Your interface VLANs doesn't have an IP address. Line console, there is no password, and so on, right? So you can understand that show running config will show you the version of the operating system. Remember, your switch will have an operating system that we call iOS. Don't worry for now. So how will you know the version of that operating system? You can just type show space running config. How will you know number of ports on your particular switch? You can count them physically, but you can also view them. Show running config. How will you see the IP address of your interface VLAN? Show running config. How will you see the password for the line console? Show running config, right? But there is also a shortcut. For a shortcut, maybe you don't want to waste your time, you can just say show run, right? And you press like enter. It's the same thing, right? So guys, very like easy for you to understand, right? First command will allow you to view like current configurations. Most specifically, version of your operating systems, your host name, your IP address for your interface VLANs, your password for the line console, line VTY, and so on, right? I wanted just to show you how to use that particular command. So when you are at workplace, you got switches there, no matter how many they are, like in your data center, you don't panic. You know already, like, no, this particular switch, I can access it, so, and I can view the current configurations, right? How you gonna do it? You got your laptop, you have your console port, you plug your console port, you got your terminal emulations, and you go to the switch, show space running config. Okay, let's go to the next command. right? The next one is show space startup config, right? This command will display the current saved in the non-volatile RAM that will be loaded when the device restarts, right? Guys, this command, show space startup config, will show you whatever that you saved. Remember that your switch will have a memory. That memory, it's like a static memory. That memory is like a non-volatile memory, the NVRAM, non-volatile RAM. So even if you switch off your switch, whatever that you configured and saved will be there. You understand? So show startup config will show you the configurations that you saved, the configurations that sometimes when you switch on your device, those configurations that will come already when you switch on your device. For you to view them, it shows startup config. So the main difference between show running and show startup is this. Show running will show you the configurations that you are busy configuring without saving. But when you save, for you to view whatever that you saved, you must use the command show space startup config. So we're gonna go again. We are here. We can say show startup config. What does it mean? You are asking the switch. This is so it's kind of programming, all right? So the device is already like programmed to understand some of the keyword. So the device, your switch knows like, so if somebody is saying show space like startup config means show him the configurations that I saved, right? You press show startup config. You see that's what they are saying. The startup config is not present. Means you never saved yet. What am I gonna show you? Right? You didn't save like anything yet. What am I gonna show you? That's why the switch showing a message, startup config is not present, right? But if I'm trying to save whatever that I'm doing now and use the same command, you're gonna see what the switch will do. Let's try to save. Remember the command, copy, run, start. So I'm trying to save whatever that is there on the running config to the startup config. Press enter, enter again, right? So now we're gonna use the same command, show startup config. Now you're gonna see it's gonna show up. Why? Because we saved already some of the configuration, and you press enter. So you can see now it's showing, right? So remember guys, I know so many students, when they finish their qualifications, they got a job, they go to the data center. When they saw the device, they saw switches, routers, they quit. They couldn't work. Why? They didn't know what to do. They saw switches, routers, they don't know what to do. They could see, they could read like it's a switch or maybe it's a router or whatever. But how to use it now? How to access it? How to configure it? Right? So it's very, very easy. Like every time when you are doing your exercises, you need to try to view whatever that you are doing. You know, the command show running startup, no, show running a config, and show startup config. Command number 3, show IP interface brief, right? Remember guys, you can have your device and you got your IP addresses, right? And some of the interfaces, your ports can be off or on. How will you know your IPs? How will you check the IPs? And how will you check what are the ports that are like on and what are the ports that are off? Remember, let me give you a scenario, right? Maybe one of the computer cannot be connected to the network right? Now, you as a specialist, you try to understand why this computer is not connected to the network or maybe to the server, right? You check the cable is fine. Now you ask yourself, but the connectivity, the cable is right. Why this computer is not connected, right? Now, maybe the port where you plug that particular cable from the switch, that port is off. How will you know that that particular port is off? You just go to the switch, you say, okay, let me check first if like all those ports are on, right? But how will you know that? Show IP space interface brief. So this command will show you the IP addresses and those ports that are off or on. So the status of every port, right? So you just go, you type show IP interface brief. So means show me a summary of all my IPs and all my ports. So the status of my ports. And you press enter. You can see here. So those are your ports, like these ports. It's just a name, my first Ethernet 0/1. Maybe it's port number 1. You can see the colon of the IP address. There is no IP address. You can see that the port is down. Means what? The port is off and the protocol is down. Means there is no IP, right? Because there is no IP, that was showing down, right? So this is very easy, right? So it's like you are asking the database of the switch. The switch has a database. That database will keep all the IPs and all the interfaces or all the ports information, right? So you want to understand, okay, what is the IP address that is given to port number 5? Port number 5, so is it up or down? How will you know that? Show space, like IP space, interface brief, right? As I said, no need for you to memorize because those things you can get them wherever you are. You as a specialist, nobody will come to your server room or to your data center and ask, hey, why are you troubleshooting the switch and checking your command? Or nobody would know that, right? The only things that you know, one day you have to remember, okay, so I want to know the IP like addresses like on this particular switch. So I want to know the status of those ports. Show space like IP space interface brief, right? Very easy. You just press enter. We're gonna go to the next command. And remember, guys, so if the interface is up, so it's gonna show up. But if the interface like is down, it's gonna show down, right? So you will know from here, the status like up or down, the protocol like up or down, right? The status is down because nothing is connected to those ports, and the protocol is down because there is no IP address, right? Okay, now we're gonna move to comment number 4, right? Remember, guys, you got your switch, you got your router. That switch will come with ports. That router will come with ports, right? Sometimes you will try to understand, you wanna learn something about your ports. You want to learn something about your ports, like in terms of statistics, in terms of errors, because most of the time your ports will have errors, your ports will have problems. How will you know about them, right? So show interfaces, this comment will display detailed information about like all your interfaces, including traffic statistics and errors, right? So how are you gonna use it? You just come, you say show interfaces, and you press what? Enter, right? So yeah, you can see like this interface, like the first port, first Ethernet 0/1 is just like a name of the port, that physical port. You can see that is down because nothing is plugged to it. Line protocol is down because there is no IP. So you as a specialist now, when you just say show interfaces, you see it says fast Ethernet 0/1 is down. You know, hey, my man, the port is down. We have to bring it up. That way that computer is not connected. The cabling is fine, but the port from the switch is down. You can see a line protocol is down. Means what? There is no IP address, right? You can see here, like hardware, it's, so this is the MAC address or physical address of the device. So for now, don't worry about whatever that you see here. More you are doing your courses, like now you're going to be done in CCNA 1 and you're going to move to CCNA 2. From CCNA 2, you are going to learn like advanced network configurations, and you are going to be specializing more on security and wireless. So CCNA 2, it's most about wireless and security, how to secure network devices, how to secure your company in terms of configuration side and so on, some of the rules, how to design your wireless networks and how to protect your wireless networks, right? So show interfaces will show you some of the information related to your interfaces, your ports. Those are the interfaces, like if your ports are down, so if there is no IP, the MAC address or the physical address, and so on, right? Okay. There are just a lot because there are so many ports, huh? But sometimes you can say a control C just to come out like quickly. It's control C to come out. Yes, let's move. Comment number 5, right? Show versions. Guys, this comment will allow you to see the versions of your operating system, but we call it iOS. So the operating system of the switch, so, or maybe for your router, we call it iOS, right? So maybe you wanna know which versions you are using and some of the details about your hardware. And remember, guys, your switches, you can change the versions. You can put new operating system or new iOS, but we are going to see it later on. For now, just understand how to check the versions of your operating system. How will you know some of the details related to your hardware? Your hardware platform means what? You want to know the model of your switch and some of the details. So the comment is show versions. You just come here, you type show versions, and you press. Oh, I did type it wrongly. So if you type a comment wrongly, you're gonna see it will show you that there's a problem here. Show versions and like enter, right? Yes, so you can see here, guys. This is the operating system, my operating system type, right? This is the version of my operating system, right? But no need to go further. You can see the model of my device. You can see like the capacity of my memory, the memory of the switch. You can see the processor board and so on. But don't worry for now. You will know that all those things, right? CCNA 1 is just fundamentals. Yes, right? We're gonna move to the comment number 6. Show IP routes, right? Show IP routes displays the routers, the IP routing table. This comment, we are going to use it more when we are dealing with routers, right? Remember, guys, like a router will have a database also, right? That database will keep all the networks, will save all the networks. Remember, you can see a wireless access point here. That particular wireless access point will have a database, like a memory, like you a human being, you got a brain, right? So when I'm telling you like now, Andrew or Tando, please can you go to workshop, right? Because inside your brain, you know where is workshop. You know how to reach workshop. You know that particular road, right? Because your brain already saved the same as a router. for a router to connect the other networks, your router will have a brain, will have a memory. That memory will save all the routes. You understand? So different networks can talk because routers got brains. Those brains can save all those networks, right? There is no magic the way you can wake up in the morning, you send to your friend a WhatsApp message. There is no magic when you wake up in the morning, you send an email address to somebody. How your email address will reach that destination? Because of routers, right? We are connected because of routers. When we are talking about internet, we are talking about millions. We're talking about thousands of routers. Those routers are connected. Those routers knows how to reach like each other. Those routers got networks for others. Now, how to view those networks? How to view them? You got your router. You wanna see other networks from that particular router. How to see those other networks? Show IP routes. So to summarize, you have a router, right? That router will have like information about other routers or other networks. How will you know the other networks linked to your network? Show space IP space routes. So I will go to the router. You cannot use it from the switch, basically from the router the most. You go to the router, CLI, you say first no, you press enter, you enter again, and you say show IP routes, you press like enter, right? But remember, there is no configurations yet. There is only one router, so we cannot see the other routers are connected to my router. Let me give you a scenario, right? You have maybe two branches, like in different locations, or maybe two buildings, right? That building got computers connected to their own router. This building also got like computers connected to their own router. But because it's the same company, you need to connect those two routers, right? When you connect those two routers, from one router, you can just type show space IP routes. By typing that, you will learn about this particular building. You will get some of the information related to this particular building because those two routers are connected. You understand? So when you have a router, that router is connected to other routers. How will I learn? How will I know those other routers connected to my router? You must go to your own router. You type the command show space what IP space routes, show IP routes, right? And when we are talking about routers, we are talking about networks. How will you know those other networks connected to your network? How will you see them? Show space IP space routes, right? But don't worry, as your level will be moving, you are going to become more comfortable, and you're going to be specializing on those things. You're still in level 1 when you're going to be moving level 2. So for every level, your skills will be growing. And the difference between a junior technician and a senior technician, it's about what are the configurations do you know? This is where the difference is, right? So it's most about the configurations. What are the configurations that you know? You understand? So when guys are talking about this guy is a junior technician, this one is a senior technician or senior engineer, because the senior know more about networks configurations. Maybe you know only about few commands, but a senior knows more about those configurations. So more you are learning about the configurations, more you are moving from a junior position to a senior position. Like now you are doing CCNA 1 for junior technicians. After finishing your CCNA 1, when you move to CCNA 2, means you are moving to junior position to an intermediate position. When you move to CCNA 3, means you move to a senior position, because you as a senior person, They cannot send you to go and punch the IPs. They cannot send you to upgrade operating systems and so on. Your job is to deal with network devices that are available on the data centers. Those are your responsibilities, right? So, yeah, so we're gonna move to what comment number 7. Show villain brief, right? Right? Show villain brief. Somebody is trying to talk to me. Show villain brief, right? Okay, so this command will display a summary of villains configured on a switch, right? So remember, guys, okay, let me just respond to this. Yes, guys, show villain brief, like comment number 7. Remember, guys, when you are dealing with companies, with big corporations, right? You cannot keep like everybody inside the same network. You are going to keep them separately, right? Like maybe you have a company, you have like marketing department, finance, like IT, and so on, right? Those departments, they are different networks, but for the same company, right? Those different networks, we call them VLANs, virtual networks, right? Now, how to view them, how to understand different networks like inside your switch, how would you understand what are the networks like inside this particular switch? Maybe you are not the person like who configured this particular switch, right? The previous guys did the configurations, or they can send you to fix some of the issues. Maybe one of the guys from marketing department cannot be connected to the network or maybe to the server. Maybe the issue is they are not in the same networks. That why the guy cannot be connected maybe to finance person. That way the guy cannot send an email to the finance person. Maybe they are not, there is no connections. Now, how will you know which computer, which user belong to which networks? First, you need to know how to view those networks, right? How you gonna view them? Show space VLAN brief. Don't worry, we are going to understand this comment better. You just type show VLAN brief. You press like enter, right? Show VLAN brief will show you like a database, right? Inside that particular database, you are going to see like, all the ports, and you are going to see which port is belong to which network, right? Very easy to understand. So when you want to understand what are the networks like inside my switch and which ports belong to which network, show space VLAN brief. But in CCNA 2, you are going to master VLANs, how to create VLANs, how to create those different networks, how to assign ports to those networks, how to assign specific bandwidth, and so on later on, right? Now, we are in lesson, no, we're in comment number 8. Show space shows space CDP space neighbors. This command displays information about directly connected Cisco devices using Cisco Discovery Protocol. What does it mean, guys? You are going to be dealing with hundreds of switches in your company, right? So you are in front of one of the switch. You want to fix one of the problem, right? But that particular switch is connected to other switches, right? How will you know that? You cannot start checking physically. You see the cable. Hey, this switch is connected to this one. This switch. When you go to a data center, there are hundreds of switches, or maybe your server room. How will you know from my switch how many other switches are connected to me, right? So you don't need to go and start counting number of switches, and you want to understand it from there, right? You need to ask your switch, please, my switch, can you show me what are the switches that are connected to me, right? And the command for you to do that is show space CDP space neighbors. It means that you are asking that particular switch where you are sitting on to show you what are the neighbors that are connected to it, right? And that CDP is just like a piece of software developed by Cisco that allows your switch to view other switches that are connected to it, right? So you can just sit in front of one switch. When you type show space CDP space neighbors, you will view other switches. You will see like, oh, okay, there is switch number 10. This switch is connected to this switch using port number 3. So on port number 5, there is switch this. This particular switch is connected to me. So this comment will show you which switch is connected to you and via what? Via which ports, right? Show space CDP neighbors. So you just come to your switch, you type show CDP neighbors, and you press enter. Because I have only one switch, so I cannot see other switches, right? But if like I got 3 to 4 switches that are connected, so I will view other switches, right? But don't worry, we're talking about show command still. Yes, let's move forward, right? And remember, guys, learning Cisco devices means you know the best networking devices in the world, right? So when you know the Cisco devices means that those those other switches, you can work with them because other companies, they just copy the algorithm from Cisco. So all the networking devices that you know from like from HP, from wherever, those people, they copied the algorithm from Cisco. So most of the stuff they just copy from Cisco and they developed their own devices. So when you know those commands, whatever that you've learned here, it's so easy. Even if you are using another device, you can just check, okay, from this particular device, how will I know my neighbors from this particular switch? We can go to the internet, you just check the model of the switch, you ask how to check the other neighbors using maybe the HP switches. They will give you the comment and you go. But if you don't know, you never learned about it, you don't know it, like in your life, like when I'm dealing with a switch, there's a way from this particular switch to know like other switches that are connected to it and via which port. If you don't know that theory, you're gonna be lost because you don't know. But if you know already, like, no, you know, when you have a switch, there is always a comment that will allow you to know like switches that are connected to this one and using which ports. This is the most important information you have to know, because even if the device changed, you can still get the information and go to that particular device and get what you need to understand, right? Okay, number 9, show spanning tree. Display information about the spanning tree protocol configurations and status, right? So you just go here, you type show spanning tree, right? And you press like enter because there is no spanning tree configured yet. And the last one is show logging, right? Remember, most of the time when you got like errors, your switch will be saving those errors. We call them the log, right? how to check your logging. You just go to the switch, you type show login, right? And you press like enter, right? So sometimes it will show you like all the errors or maybe some of the previous comment. Yeah. Yes, guys, thank you very much. This particular lesson was a bit long, but make sure that you sit in front of your computer, do like everything. Like every time you are free, you take your laptop, you take your show comment, you try to practice, right? This is how your skills will be growing. So thank you very much. This is the end of this lesson. We are going to move to lesson 9 later on. Uh, Remember to contact me for your registration. You can use my email address or you can use my WhatsApp number, and always send me the screenshots when you are doing your configurations, right? Yeah, thank you very much. See you later.